Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Hey, well, welcome to Real Talk with MRK. This is coffee in the morning. I hope everybody go ahead and got their cup of coffee. I got mine. Hey, welcome back to my podcast. I'm Martez Rafael Kirkland. I'm your host for this podcast, for this episode, and I'm ready to get started, man. It is terrific Tuesday. I hope everybody has had a great Monday, a great evening, and a great morning so far. Hey, if you up, you just now getting up, hey, go ahead and click onto that YouTube channel. It's MRK Dreams Big. Go to the MRK Dreams Big YouTube channel and subscribe, like, and hey, tune in and let's go ahead and engage and let's get started. All right. And you guys know how we do if you've been tuning in lately. All right. We on our 9th episode of my podcast, Real Talk with your boy MRK, where we discuss topics, discuss things that a lot of people don't want to talk about, where we are honest, open, candid. Hey, and this is what I do, man. Hey, we just gonna sit back, relax, and I hope you guys are able to, you know what I'm saying, engage with me. Hey, you can make those comments on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you have any questions and everything, I definitely will answer them. And hey, let's go ahead and get started. So you know how I start this off with the morning inspiration, all right? Morning inspiration. I think this is a positive segment where we can engage and we can learn from each other and we can learn from the inspiration that I have chosen. All right, since it's Black History Month, again, we're gonna keep it black. All right, and we're gonna go with the morning inspiration, right? And it states, "You are not to be so blind with patriotism that you can't face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter who does it or says it." And this inspirational quote is by Malcolm X. You guys already, well, maybe you don't know. Malcolm X's life was cut short because he was assassinated, and you know he used to be with the Nation of Islam, and towards the end of his life, he started to make a change in a different direction. All right, he went over to the Mecca. He went over to the motherland, and he seen differently. He learned differently, so he had a different perspective on things and religion, and as far as how to go about handling, fighting for our equal rights, fighting for justice, fighting for equality, right? And if you listen and if you read what it says, "You are not to be so blind with patriotism." And I know we are in America. I know that we are in the United States of America, where everybody here, or a lot of us, love our country so dearly, right? Because we are in the land of freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom to be able to have, to go out there and have our own businesses and pretty much have free will to do the things we need to do to, to be financially stable, to express our feelings without being locked up. In a lot of the countries in the world, hey, there's a lot of them that don't allow that. So, hey, thank God for America. Thank God for allowing me to be born, to America, in the land of the brave and the home and the free. But let's talk about this inspirational quote that Malcolm X had spoke about. What I see in this quote, right, where it says, "You are not to be so blind with the patriotism." This is how I see it. Meaning, a lot of people in America, right, they are so patriotic that all they can see is their patriotism. Meaning, regardless if it's wrong, they are still going to stay on the side of being a patriot. They're going to look at things in a way because it's this is how we do things. This is America and everything. So I'm gonna go towards the direction of, if we're so patriotic, right, and you believe in patriotism and you believe in America and you believe in being, in the country that you live in, why are there still people out there that are still racist? Why do you hate? Because that's what racism is. Why do you hate Black people so much? Why do you discriminate against Black people so much? How can you be patriotic when you hate the individuals that helped build this country? How can you be show so much patriotism to this country, but disregard the individuals, right, that helped you get this country to where it is today? Which is mind-boggling to me. I'm only 45 years old. I'm not that old, right? Take a sip of this coffee right here, because we just real talking right here. We just being candid, honest, and I'm giving you my viewpoint and my honest opinion on what I've seen and what I've experienced, right? I've served this country for 24 years, retired as the E8 pay grade and the rank of Master Sergeant. I've been to war, in conflict, and in harm's way. So I'm gonna be honest, I believe, you know, those that serve their country have the ultimate platform to speak on patriotism or you know, what is it, having honor and love for their country that we live in, right? Which is America. And I believe Malcolm X was saying, you're so blinded by your patriotism, right, of this country and what your beliefs are, that you will be blinded to the fact to what is wrong and what is right and what is supposed to be, which is still mind-boggling, right? And I don't, because it's a contradiction, because those that have helped build this land and fought the wars for this country, right? And they are Black people. It goes back to the Revolutionary War before that this country was founded, right? When the 13 colonies were actually set in place, right? And we as Black people, and I'm speaking for the Black man, we have been discriminated against. Rights have been minimized. We have been treated less than humane in the history of America. And this is just real talk, right? A lot of people don't want to hear this, don't want to talk about this, right? But the only way that you can heal, all right, and be able to move on for the future is to be able to talk about the past, reflect on it, understand it, and then move on. Like, we can't sweep it under the rug. I know y'all heard this old saying before and all this stuff. And some people think that we have come out of it. Some people think that we have healed from it, but we're not. Because to this day, there are individuals that still believe that, because they are so patriotic, right, in their with their ways and their ideals and their thought process on how America should be, that they forget about what's right. They forget about what's right. You know, what's right is treating everybody equally. What's right is, you know, regardless of your color, your race, your gender, you should be treated equally. That is not 100% going on, not in this country, because there are people so much on the side of being a patriot, that they put, I'm gonna be honest, they put the country before treating people with dignity and respect, with courtesy and just equalness. And I don't understand that. How can you put a land or a country over just being able to treat someone right? It may come from how they was raised. They still don't want to acknowledge that. Your patrioticness and your level of patriotism sometimes can go into making you being a racist, because someone has told you that your skin color, right, you belong and we don't. Black people was brought over here on ships, so therefore this is not truly their country, and go back to Africa and all this good stuff. But the truth of the matter, if you really look into history, there are a lot of that color, this race, right? I'm just speaking true facts. I'm not racist. I'm just speaking on this subject right now. And this is the direction that I'm taking, that you too were brought here on ships. You too came here on a ship, whether it was the Mayflower, the ships from England, the ships from Europe, Ireland, the Dutch. I mean, you guys remember the immigrants coming, a lot of the immigrants coming through New York, right? You know, on all those ships and everything. So that's why when you go to New York is such a melting pot, because you have a lot of the immigrants and their ancestors that came on those ships, like in the early 1800s and 1900s. And I think a lot of us and a lot of them, they actually forget. So if you really truly trace your roots and your history, you too will find out that, guess what? You also came on a ship just like the Africans from Africa. So we are no different from each other. We are the same. We built this country together, right? The only difference is we didn't have the we wasn't in the positions of power to assist in that nature. We had to take, what you guys gave us, whether it was us fighting in the wars and you guys segregated our service members, the army and everything, but we still fought in the wars of America, every single war. So do not allow your patriotism to blind you to the fact of the reality of wrong. Wrongdoing is wrong, regardless of how you put it. It is wrong to treat someone indifferently and inhumane based off of their race. It is wrong. I'm just talking real talk, man. So as I enlighten you guys and try to maybe educate you and bring a different, broader perspective to that quote that Malcolm X said, that you are not to be blind. You're not to be so blind with patriotism that you can't face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter what does, no matter who does it or says it. Your positioning, your race, your gender does not make it right, regardless of how you put it. All right. So a lot of times, let's look at being patriotic of that anybody and everybody that fights for this land, those that come here, that become citizens, and they are integrated into the community of the United States, and they are putting out especially positive things in the community and assisting the community that you live in, that I live in, for the better sake of humane, right? Has a right to be here, has a right to exercise their freedoms, their patrioticness in a way that we all can benefit from. All right. So that's the morning inspiration. I don't know if that inspired you or maybe it enlightened you, but that's the direction that I went. All right. And I'm going to say it again. You are not to be blind with patriotism that you can't face reality. Wrong is wrong, no matter who does it or says it, by Malcolm X. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's move on to today's shout outs. Today's shout outs goes to, we'll bring them up, Martez Johnson. All right. And we're in Black History Month, so I'm definitely going to push Black history, educate, promote, and we just going to enlighten ourselves, right? So I found out Martez Johnson first became involved in the fight for racial justice following his personal experience with police violence in 2015. All right, the encounter was caught on video, and the next day, all right, the justice for Martez was trending and sparked protests. Johnson spoke out on his college campus and continues to speak out about the importance of racial justice and why the fight for Black lives is so important. He recently graduated from the University of Michigan. I'm originally from Michigan, law school, all right, and is working to support civil rights cases, all right. That is Martez Johnson, all right. Now, a little bit more about Martez Johnson, since we giving him his flowers, right? So now a fourth-year student, right? Johnson reflects on the experience of having his name trend on social media in the national debate in law enforcement for the October issue of Vanity Fair. All right. So it speaks about, as I get into this article, right? He talks about, just listen to the words that I'm speaking, y'all. All right, real talk, right? On the night of March 18, 2015, 3 white alcoholic beverage controlled officers asked me for my identification outside of a bar adjacent to the University of Virginia's ground. So he said, I showed them my ID, which they wrongly assumed was a fake ID. After a brief interaction with these officers, I was slammed to the ground, he says, violently, detained with handcuffs and leg shackles and arrested without justification as the officers pinned me to the ground with their knees. Blood flowed freely from my face, and my friends and classmates surrounded the scene, screaming with indignation and anger. They watched helplessly as I yelled, how did this happen? I go to UVA when I was picked up and dragged away by these officers. Glimpse of my ancestors' history flashed before his eyes, he says. Although it could never compare to the life of slavery, for those hours I had no freedom, no autonomy, and no say in what was happening to him. I cried for a long time, he said, that night, not because of my physical wounds, though there were many, or possible jail time. I was charged with 2 misdemeanors that were eventually dropped. But because my lifelong vision of sanctuary and success was destroyed in seconds, do you understand? In that instant, that young man, freedom was taken from him. Though maybe it was in a short period of time, but how he felt. And if you are a person out there that has never been in that situation, has never felt and know how it feels like to have your rights and your freedoms to be taken away, it is a scary moment. I had a situation when I was 18 in Jacksonville, North Carolina. I just came back from Okinawa, Japan, graduated from high school. I was working at Burger King, going to community college school at full time and working full time. I didn't have a car at this time, so I would walk home from work. All right. But at this particular time, I was waiting on a ride for one of my friends, right? And I had closed down Burger King because, I closed out. It was about 3:30 in the morning, almost 4 o'clock when I finished. I went into a convenience store. Just to get, honestly, you guys going to laugh at this, right? I got to keep these lips nice and moist. It was cold. So I went to get some Vaseline and a drink, right? As an 18-year-old, right, I had a book bag that I carried, to carry my stuff in, jackets and stuff of that nature, right? I went into the convenience store, and I'm just going to say it was a Caucasian man that was in a convenience store. I was walking around in the convenience store looking for something to eat, something to drink, and some Vaseline or whatever you want to call it, chapstick for my lips. And as I noticed, I remember the guy kind of staring at me, looking at me or whatever. And I felt kind of awkward. And I said to myself, oh, he's looking at me because I'm a Black young man. He must think that I'm gonna steal something, right? I don't know. I just wanted to get home. I just got off of work. I was tired. So and it's crazy because I still purchased something. I still purchased the item that I was looking for. But he was still looking at me in a way of, why are you here? In suspicion. So as I came out of the store, I waited there at the store because I felt like that was the safest place. Burger King was closed down. My boss and my supervisors and my coworkers had left already. So therefore, I had to wait. I'm standing outside the convenience store because they had lights, waiting on my ride. So as my ride wasn't there yet, as I waited for about 5 minutes, I noticed 2 police cars drove up. And as they drove up, lights, you know how that goes. And they stepped out. Hey, told me to come over. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you here? So they continued to question me. I was like, I just got off work. Burger King is right there, really 20 steps from where the convenience store was. And this is so vividly in my mind, and I'm 45 years old, and I still remember this. It's still how I remember how I felt. And yes, it was 2 white police officers. And now I'm not saying all police officers are bad, because I have family members that have been police officers, detectives, and everything, and appreciate what they do when they protect and they serve. But these 2 individuals, right, they were questioning me. Then, guess what? They proceeded to tell me to take off my book bag so they can check my book bag. I asked them what for. I didn't do anything. Why are they, I felt, harassing me? Do you understand, or do you know that they turned me around, put me up against the car, patted me down, right? In that instant, I felt like my rights were impeded on. I remember that. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't know. I didn't do anything. I was an 18-year-old young man that was honestly working and just wanted to get home, waiting for my ride. But I remember how they asked the questions, how they treated me, and how they was probing me wasn't in a way of protect and serve. It was a way of, I felt, harass the young Black man because he may be troublesome and he may be a threat based off of his color. And I remember looking at the time to my left as I remembered, and I could see the man that was working the store. He was all in it. He was looking. So then I knew for a fact that he and only he was the only one that called and said whatever he said. Maybe he said I was here to rob him. Maybe he said that maybe I stole something. But I remember how I felt. I was shaking. I was scared. I was confused. And I felt less than. After they left off and they finished, I remember shedding tears. I remember getting home. I didn't never tell my parents, never tell my dad or my mom, never had that conversation. But I remember how I felt. So Martez Johnson, action that took place when that happened to him, and it didn't go to the extreme for me to, push to the ground and maybe kick or hit a little or bruised a little bit and then take it in. It never got to that point. But I was scared. I feared. I kind of was aware of Rodney. I was aware at that point in time at being 18, but I remember that moment. And just want to give a shout out to Martez Johnson for his awareness, what he has done after his situation. And I want to say that was very commendable and content for him to continue on with what he is doing with his awareness to, I would say, police brutality, unjustness, and keep rocking, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And that goes to Martez Johnson. That's your shout out for the day. All right. Let's keep it moving, y'all. Let's go ahead and keep it moving, man. Let me go ahead and bring in some tunes, some music, man. So we can right here. There we go, right. All right, so the next thing we're gonna go move on to the current events. We're gonna talk about sports. We're gonna talk about politics. We're gonna talk about it all. All right, what's going on TikTok? I hope everybody's going straight as we continue on. Now, in the world of sports. All right, so let me bring this up right here for y'all. In the world of sports, man, LeBron James applies trade deadline pressure on the Lakers, right? Rest as possible free agency looms, right? Everybody knows that the NBA free agency is coming upon us, and we already know each year some NBA teams, there are blockbuster trades. There are things that happen for teams to try to put themselves in position to be contenders, or maybe to rebuild for the future. But we all know that every year it seems as if LeBron James is in the news about what? The trades. Because if his team is not as good as he think it should be for him to compete for a title, it's almost like the unspoken word of him kind of, pressuring the office, the head top office, to make trades to position himself and the team to be able to contend and win a championship, right? So LeBron James, unlike LeBron James' second stint with the Cavaliers, when his annual opt-out option became a regular topic of conversation each season, his run with the Lakers has exuded more stability. This is what they're talking about. But as was the case before last year's trades deadline, the all-time greatest applying pressure on the Lakers brass to improve the team's current roster ahead of February 8th, and the fact that this summer provides James with his first chance to become a free agent in 2019 gives him position him with more power. Here we go. LeBron James is doing it again. Leveraging. I'm going to be honest. I think he's really a mastermind in how he has leveraged when he becomes a free agent or upon his free agency. But we can't take nothing away from him, right? Right? So it goes on to say, after telling reporters that he had yet to decide on his player option for next season, James sent the basketball world in a frenzy while posting an emoji, meaning that hourglass, meaning what that means. As you watch the sand trickles into that little hole down at the bottom, and the sand starts to kind of move down and run out, it means time is running out, Lakers. Y'all better do something. Y'all want to keep me, right? So, following the Lakers' loss to Atlanta Hawks last week, when asked to clarify what did the emoji entail, James refused to elaborate. No, James told reporters when asked to explain the tweet. Here we go with the mind games. You know how LeBron James do, right? You know how LeBron James do. I'm going to stretch my legs out. Let me sip on this coffee, man. Thank y'all for the likes. Thank y'all. Everybody double tap that screen, man, on TikTok, man. All right. So it goes on to say, right, when while some have refused to read into James' passive aggressive ways, right? ESPN Brian Windhorst, first, he's been following LeBron like ever since he was in high school, right? Who has covered James since high school, just like I said on SportsCenter Sunday that weren't at an 8 on the LeBron James passive aggressive trade deadline timescale. Windhorst even suggested that James wearing a Knicks towel Saturday night was another passive-aggressive move on the Kings' part. The Lakers, to this point, from what I'm told, my sources have not reacted to LeBron's maneuvers, including wearing the Knicks towel last night, and they have kind of held firm in their talks. Windhorst said, the issue with the Lakers is they have only a couple of draft assets left, and they just want to hold on to them. Well, LeBron James, guess what, my brother? Hey, I'm going to be honest. You 39 years old and going on in year 21, right? Father Time going to catch up to you. You're even though your numbers show that you are still playing at a high level, you're not impacting the game like you once did. So the Lakers and Jeannie and Rob Pelinka, they know that guess what? If anything, if they make a move, they will probably more so trade you away from the Lakers than bringing in players to help you contend. So be careful what you ask for, right? Because he might not be going to the team or what you want to go to. And I got it. You're coming upon free agency. But I'm like this. How many teams really will want a 40-year-old LeBron James? I'm 45. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Sometimes, Father Time, you just wake up and it smacks you in the face. Right? It comes without any warning. But guess what? Even though that he's playing at a high level, guess what? hey, he may just fall off the cliff and everybody's waiting for it. So LeBron James, man, even though, hey, I am pretty much a supporter of you, not a fanatic, but a supporter of you because of your work throughout your career that you have done and you have accomplished. Hey, man, you might want to just give it a couple more years and ride off to the sunset, because I don't think a championship is coming to you, my brother. All right. So that's sports for the current events, man. Let's move on to the politics. And the politics, this is what I got for y'all right here. Politics. Where we at? Uh-oh. There we go. Found it. Let's talk about the election for the 2024 election, man. 2024 election, man. Hey, are you guys hearing things about somebody that is supposed to be, or that is considering running for president? Y'all know who I'm talking about. So now I was coming across TikTok. You know, everything on TikTok is not real, but sources say, right, fact check, that the Obamas supposedly are secretly plotting to replace Biden with Michelle Obama for the 2024 election. Right? Is that the truth? The Obamas, right, secretly plotted for the U.S. President Joe Biden to drop out of the 2024 election so that the former First Lady Michelle Obama could take his place as the Democratic Party's nominee. How many of the Democrats are actually going to go for this? Also, now, I ain't gonna lie, I think Joe Biden need to go ahead and just call it a day. He's getting older. I know he's a little bit older than Trump. It seemed like his mind is starting to diminish. His body physically is starting to diminish. And I can't see him going through another 4 years of being president of the United States. I can't see it. He's stuttering over his words. He's forgetting things. And we all know as you get older, it takes its course. So 4 more years of aging. Hey, God forbid, I don't want to see another president, of health concerns. Like, I don't want to see a president like dying off. I don't want to see it. So Joe Biden, you served 4 years. You did your best. You've been as vice president for 2 terms. So you've been a part of the executive system for 12 years of your life, and also part of Congress in the White House. I think that you have served honorably. You've done your best to probably put this country to where it needs to be. Maybe you wasn't so successful at it, but hey, my brother, to another man, hey, serve, go ahead and buy out, go ahead and move on, let somebody else come and take it. A good opponent that can challenge Trump, and make it a good election. All right, because I have no idea where this country's going. Because you talking about if we're gonna have Trump and then Joe Biden as our 2 candidates, oh Lord. So if it is true that Michelle Obama could be putting her name in for a bid to run for an election, how do y'all feel about that? Right, it talks about in the late January 2024, users on Facebook, TikTok, Truth Social, and X all shared a rumor that made quite the claim about upcoming U.S. presidential election in November. We also received reader mail about the subject. According to the rumors, U.S. President Barack Obama and his wife Michelle were secretly plotting for the U.S. President Joe Biden to step down in May, prompting the beginning of the Michelle Obama run for the White House. This was the latest iteration of a long-running rumor that the former First Lady might one day begin a campaign for public office. For example, January 27, TikTok users, right, packaged the gist of the rumor into a brief video. The video ended up receiving nearly 6 million views in just 4 days. Everything is all speculation, because if this was true and the media got a hold of it, it would be on CNN, it would be on Fox, NBC, all those news outlets. I haven't heard that yet. But I'm gonna be honest, if this is true, real talk, how y'all feel about that? I ain't gonna lie, I like Michelle Obama. I think she's a very intellectual, intelligent, smart woman. Of course, I think she went to Princeton. She was a lawyer. Obama, man, he got him somebody with some brains. So, and fashion icon and all that good stuff. I don't know if that would be her though, because it seems like she would like to do things, like make her effects in the world and the community in other ways. But her bogged down by being a president with all the issues, I don't know if that's really her. All right, so hey, it sounds good for those that support the Obamas. To be continued. Hey, we will see what happens. Hey, just stay tuned on that, y'all. All right, let's move on to the last current event. We're gonna talk about what's going on in the entertainment world. All right, what is going on in the entertainment world? And I got something for y'all right here. You know the Grammys just happened, right? The Grammys just happened, and there was some, I guess, middle line controversy. Jay-Z got up there and spoke about the Grammys, about Beyonce not receiving album of the year ever, and she has all these Grammys, right? And have not received the album of the year. I did not know that. I did not know that. I did not even know that. Hold on, take that. Because I would have thought that Beyonce at least had one. I know she has a lot of Grammys, which is awesome, right? But it's not. I don't think it's enough. Grammys, Academy, or whatever you want to call it. It's not enough. Lemonade was pretty good. I'm not sure who won, but they say I know Taylor Swift won for the album of the year. I haven't listened to a Taylor Swift song. Didn't know that she was that hot. I really don't care because she's not my genre type of music that I listen to. So I can't really give an ultimate overall opinion on this, but I can say that I believe throughout Beyonce's albums that she has put out, I think at least one of them deserved to be album of the year, right? She has won all the other Grammys, but album of the year, which is mind-boggling. Also, let's talk about Killer Mike. Congratulations, Killer Mike, man. 3 Grammys, man. He swept in all of the rap categories, which I didn't listen to Killer Mike's album, so guess what? I'm going to have to listen to it. He won for rap album of the year. I think it's rap song of the year. I can't remember the other one. And they did not broadcast it, just like they did not broadcast when Will Smith and Jazzy, DJ Jazzy won the first rap Grammy. I don't know why they didn't, which only tells me this since we in Black History Month, right? There's still some type of systematic racism implemented in these organizations, because the power that be in individuals that are in those places control the narrative. They control how things are seen, shown. So why wouldn't you, knowing that rap, the genre of rap, is pretty much, if not one of the most popular genres of music, regardless of how you feel about it or not, right? That is the honest, straight point, real talk view. Why wouldn't you put that? Why wouldn't you put that out there? Why wouldn't you show that? Is the genre of rap? The genre says, you know what, they can do it off air. They don't need to be on air to broadcast it, because you know how many more viewers that you would get if you did that. The Grammys. I'm speaking to y'all. If y'all out there, anybody from the Grammys, guess what? And I'm gonna be honest. I don't know how many actual African American Black people are in those higher positions that make the calls, but I don't believe that is not. And if they are considered probably different type of Black folks, put it like that. Because why wouldn't you want to, air and broadcast that unless you are ashamed and you don't want to bring, people to see how the Grammys are. I don't know. Maybe I can't articulate it in the correct fashion or the correct way, but it is mind-boggling, right? Years later, we are still doing the same thing. So how far have we actually come? We haven't came far enough We haven't even moved if we still continue doing things that we were doing 30 years ago. Do you understand that? Change comes from not making the same mistake. We drink some coffee together. Like okay, it comes from not making the same mistake. So on the other end, we talk about Killer Mike, a downer. And I don't know, Killer Mike must have been so excited. He must have been so, on top of the world by winning those 3 Grammys. Killer Mike got arrested, right? Black people. I'm not gonna say it's totally his fault. I don't know. Wasn't there. Only know what the media says, the social media says, the news says, and what we read, right? That's the only thing that we can go by. But it states this, right? Killer Mike, rapper Killer Mike is speaking out hours after being arrested at the 66th Annual Grammy Awards, placing blame on the security at the event, redirecting focus to his achievements. It says on Sunday, Fox News Digital confirmed. Oh God, I'm not a Fox News fan, so I'm just gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna be honest, my podcast, and that's a whole another day. Fox News, I think there are some underlining. So they're so conservative. Ooh, let me stop. Digital confirmed that after winning 3 awards during the pre-show, the rapper, whose real name is Michael Render, was arrested for his involvement in an alleged altercation with another individual. Right? They don't say why. They don't go on. It just talks about, man, ain't nobody talking about all that mess. I walked in with 3 Grammys. I took beautiful pictures, man. I got the job done, and it was a beautiful time. He told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution hours after the kerfuffle on Monday. I swept an entire category yesterday. That's what I got to say about it. He told the outlet. So Big Killer Mike didn't want to address. He didn't address it, right? The Atlanta native was charged with a misdemeanor battery. Released the same evening. Video on social media showed the musician being led out of the Crypto.com arena in handcuffs following the Grammys premiere ceremony, which airs before the main telecast, right? Because remember, he got his before the main show because they didn't broadcast the genre of hip hop. They did not broadcast the genre of hip hop. I'm gonna say it again, the Grammys, right? Go figure, right? While detained, they said the rapper sent the Atlanta outlet a text placing blame on the overzealous security. At the event, Render reportedly knocked a security officer over after they didn't move out of his way fast enough. We don't know how it transpired. We only know what the report states and all that good stuff. Who knows? We don't know. Maybe he just bumped him. I don't know. I say what sticks out to me the most has nothing to do with last night. He told the AGC, I woke up to a phone call that my son, who's been waiting on the kidney for the last 2.5 years, is on his way to the hospital right now to get surgery, to get the kidney. Render and his wife, Shada, share 4 children together. He was on stage with the rapper as he took home the Grammy for Best Rap Song. He also won the award for Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Album. Hey, he did his thing. They say on Sunday night, the Los Angeles Police Department confirmed that they had detained and handcuffed the Render for a physical altercation that occurred at the 700 block of Chick-Hearn Court. The suspect was placed under arrest and was transported to the LAPD Central Division. According to the inmate records, Render was booked for misdemeanor battery at 7:30 p.m. and released on his own recognition by 8:37. He is due back in the Los Angeles Superior Court on February 29th. There you go. There you go. Hey, so hopefully it works out for Killer Mike. All right, after winning those Grammys, man, you didn't have anything negative that put a cloud over that. Hey, he did his thing. With Grammys, you got to put the genre of hip hop and broadcast those that win, so everybody can see it in the world. All right, that's enough with current events, man. That's enough with current events. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. What's going on with y'all, man? Hot topic of the day. Today's podcast. We're going to get into it. Are y'all ready for this? The hot topic of today. Why do black people use the N-word so much? And should they stop using it? I'm going to say it again. Why do black people use the N-word so much? And should they stop using it? The N-word, we're talking about the word N-I-G-G-A. Nigga. All right? Not Negro. Nigga. All right? That's what we're talking about. Should we use it, black people? Why do we use it, black people? What is your take on it? Why is it okay for us to use and other people not using it? I'm just speaking on real facts right here, right? So why is it okay for black people but not white people to use the N-word? Explain. Or why do we use it? This is what I've heard, right? And I got an article I wanted to read, but I'm just going to kind of speak my mind on this, right? I remember being a child. I remember even being around maybe a couple of family members that used it, right? My mother didn't use it. My father didn't. I would say, I don't want to, like my biological father used it. On my biological father's side, in the city of Detroit, it was very profound in the language. And I remember being an early young boy, and maybe because of the environment that my mother kept me around, that I didn't hear it a lot. And if I did hear it, it may have been around outside family members that wasn't the immediate family, brothers, my brother, my mom, my dad, and it was kind of, it felt derogatory to me. And based off of what I've learned in school and through my vision of what I internalized through what I've seen and what I've seen on TV. I remember watching the movie The Roots and seeing stories with people of another race using the word in a derogatory way. So what it did is resonate with me, the word nigga. It didn't resonate to me to be a positive word. But I know those of all my color, they come from the environments that they grow up and are raised in or surrounded by, and the individual they're around, it is prominently used a lot. So it is comfortable to them. They feel like it is okay to use. But I always, especially when I got in high school, I didn't use it. And when I had other partners and other brothers and other friends that would say it to me, I would tell them, man, and this is at an early age, I would tell them, I'm not your nigga. And the reason why is, and some people will be like, well, in Africa, they call us, we was kings, they call us nigga. No. Because of the language, right? And it didn't mean what it meant in the Western civilization, the Western world, which is America that we live in. When we rung on these slave ships, right? And these white individuals, slave masters, right, that felt they were inferior to us, they used it in a derogatory term to belittle us, to keep us down. So I chose at an early age not to use the word, because it, to me, from my creation of and being and where I came from, which is here in America, America has used the word in a derogatory sense. But we go to our hood, we around our peoples. Yeah, my nigga. We have taken the word, right? And we have saying that this word that was used in a derogatory sense, and we have said that we're going to change it, right? We're going to take the power back from a word that they called us, which was nigger, right? And we're just going to take the ER and put A on it, and we're going to make it ours. Why would you want to make something yours when the individuals that was oppressing us, right, used it in a derogatory term? Don't make any sense, which shows that our people still haven't grown and have not come out of the the sense of the victim mentality of the oppressor. Why would you want to take something of the oppressor and make it, quote unquote, something of a positive way? But it can't be positive, because then, in a sense, in our people, in our environments that we live in, right? When we get mad at each other, the first thing we say, you need, it don't make sense. You can't say on another side, we use it for a word of embracing our brother and our sister. But then in another sense, when we get mad and angry at each other, we use it. That ain't a synonym. A synonym of the same word that is in the definition just changed. You can use it in the same. You can use the word the same in the same way, but different context. No, that is very lack of education and understanding of the true root of the word, of how the Western continent of America used the word. We took the word Nigger. We took the ER off of it, and we implemented the A and said, we're going to call each other nigga. We're going to call each other nigga. My nigga. And you wonder why they look at us and they laugh at us. I'm just real talking. I really don't care how y'all feel about it, or how you want to maybe justify your reasonings for using it. I will always say, and I didn't care, when I went around my parents and stuff like that, influence slide wise, did I use words that I shouldn't use? Yes, I did, but I didn't use it a lot. It was very minimal, because I always wanted to be looked upon as, having some type of sense. And due to the fact of my parents, I wanted to be able to, even though a lot of people don't know me as an artist, they only know me as Coach K and Martez Rafael Kirkland, whatever. But that is not who I am. That is not truly my whole identity. I was doing music before I even became in the Army. So when I was writing music, I would not try to use profanity in my music, because I wanted to be able to expand and elaborate and use words and other than that, because I feel that your vocabulary and your creativeness is lack of when you use those type of words. That's just me. That's how I feel. It's my podcast. And I know for a fact that there's some individuals that don't agree. That's why it's okay. We all have our free will. But my experiences come from, or my thought processes and what I'm speaking about come from what I've seen, my experiences. Now, my roots are from Detroit, Michigan. My family is from Detroit. I ain't from the suburb, even though I grew with my father, factually stepfather, but he is my dad. I don't like saying that, but went to the military and we was able to live pretty much a decent life, and I had a decent upbringing. But it was all about him educating us. My mother, us being better than what it was. So my mother, man, she had me at 19, homegirl from Detroit, Michigan. So don't get it twisted. I understand in the environments and all that good stuff, and I understand where I naturally, or where my roots come from. Because on my biological dad's side, my family, it's a little bit different. And even though I'm not around them, I haven't been around them in years a lot, and they are a product of the environment. I call it Detroit is in me. They may not like it, but Detroit is in them, because whether you're from Detroit, you're from Baltimore, you're from DC, you're from Chi-Town, and everybody's not like that. But you become what you are around. You speak like what you are familiar with and what you are used to and how you were raised. But I ask, and I'm gonna say this: I believe everybody should educate themselves on the word nigga, and we should be more responsible in how we use it by never using it. Because I don't believe, and I will not, and I don't use it. People that know me, I'll never walk up, man, my nigga. No. I can't even say it. It can't even come out of my mouth. Because I know what it derived from. I know the roots from it. We're not African. So people be like, well, in Africa, the kings, they call us nigga. I don't speak African. I speak American English language, right? So the English language of nigger, right? Which we take the ER and make it nigga and everything. And then we're going to say, yeah, this all word now. We're going to embrace it and everything. You're using a word from rootly. It comes from a word that was oppressing you, belittling you, and speaking down on you. Just like if you look in a dictionary, they got these words where what did your word originally deprived from. Come on, man. I'm just being honest. That's all. So we need it. I think, hey, let's educate ourselves a little bit better. Let's be more in tune to the words that we use and how we use them. And the N word. Let me read this. This right here is the filthiest. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Is the N word is the filthiest, dirtiest, nastiest word in the English language. I'm gonna say it again. Right, and they're talking about niggas, right? That was the view of a prostitute, Christopher Darden. When the issue of saying the N-word came up in 1995 murder trial of U.S. football star O.J. Simpson, and it's a view that many people still share today. The BBC received more than 8,600 complaints for using the word in full in a report about a racially aggravated attack in July. It initially defended the decision, but then Director General Tony Hall later issued an apology saying it was a mistake. Right? This led to the BBC issuing staff with new guidance on the use of racist language in its output, which was published on Wednesday. All right, that Wednesday, right? It is now says that there must be exceptional editorial reasons to use the strongest racist terms, and this must personally approved by the corporation's divisional directors. When I hear the word, I shudder. I think of my dad hearing the word, get that N-word, while being chased through the streets of Liverpool by racist football fans as he went to watch Man City. The word can be traced back in history through slavery, right? All right, that's the word. What we talking about, nigga? Okay. Let's talk about the word nigga. All right, here we go. In the Webster Dictionary. All right. Listen to this, y'all. Listen to this. The first thing in the Webster Dictionary, it says the word plural, niggas, also niggas, offensive. It is offensive. But we still use it. Used as a pronunciation spelling of nigger. It's a pronunciation. In the Webster Dictionary, they had defined it. Used as a pronunciation spelling of nigger. Y'all get that? So why are we using it? All right, and number two, definitely. All right, and then it goes on, and this is what I talked about with us as Black people. Sometimes offensive. How can a word be something? I guess it's almost like the same as when women call each other bees, right? Girl, hey, bee. But then when a man or somebody that you use it in a derogatory sense, now it's offensive to you. Why use it? I call each other that. Someone please give me the justification to that, right? Sometimes offensive, see, right? Used by some Black people to refer to themselves or to another Black person in a neutral or positive way. I don't agree with that. We just have justified what the first definition of the word and where it was derived from. We adopted it. Why do we adopt the word from the oppressor? Don't make any sense to me. Nigga originated as a variant of the infamous racial slur nigger. Can I say that again? Nigga originated in the Webster Dictionary. It states, nigga originated as a variant of an infamous racial slur nigger, reflecting one of its pronunciation. People, it is an equally offensive word in the late 20th centuries. However, the two forms begin to diverge in use among some African Americans, with nigga becoming the preferred term for neutral and positive self-referential uses. See what we have done? Despite the prevalence in hip-hop, a highly influential music and cultural movement of African American origin, whose millions of fans now span the globe, these uses of nigga are themselves controversial, and use of nigga by a person who is not black. So I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna be honest, and I might stir some of you guys up, but I don't care. I pretty much always have been against the grain and a rebel in a cause or whatever, and thought differently from maybe my family members, and that's just who God has made me, in the mind that God has given me. But I am a person of that can see the other side, and caring and loving and all that good stuff, all good stuff, right? But I am still my own person, and I have my own mind and have my own thought process. Why would we want to use this word when we know where it was derived from? Why would we want to use this word when we know it is still controversial and it's still offensive to so many? Why would you want to embrace something and try to make it yours? Why couldn't we come up with something else that we can call ourselves, that it is actually ours and not derived from the oppressor? Maybe I'm sounding so much of an independent thought person that maybe is not truly much educated on it or whatever, but I'm reading you guys the definition of it. This is a hot topic of the day, and I told you guys I was going to real talk and come with real information and true perspectives from how I see it. You have your perspective, I have mine. And maybe this may make you think differently about me. But one thing I honestly pride myself on is that I don't care, because I don't walk in cliques. I don't go in cliques. I walk with God, and I am my own person that God has made me. So you can be mad at me. You can disagree with me and not want to talk to me or look at me differently. I really don't pretty much care, right? I care what affects me, meaning I care for my loved ones, I care for my family, I care for myself, and I care about what God, feels about me. And guess what? Nobody knows, none of you know what God really feels or thinks about him, because my relationship with him is my relationship, and he knows my heart. No friends, no co-workers, no acquaintances, no associates, no family members. So I know where I walk, I know who I am. My walk is different. So if you wanna, disown me, but hey, stop using the word nigga. That's the hot topic of the day. Let's keep it moving, y'all. Let's keep it moving. Hey, I'm your boy, MRK, baby, Martez Rafael Kirkland. Now let's go to MRK. Today's on Tuesdays. What we do is, it is called MRK Poets Corner. I wrote a little piece. It's a very short piece, right? It's called the Poets Corner, right? And I got a comment. Let me see what the comment says, first of all. Somebody, Canacey Williams, I agree. But I use the word nigga sometimes. That's what people are. But the worst word to me is the word black. Look up compared to the word white. You know what? That may be the next topic. I think it's Canacey Williams. I definitely will look that up. And you are right. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. So again, I'm handling one topic at a time. And I gotta educate yourself more, become more enlightened. I'm just saying, hey, know what it is that you're saying and why you're saying it, and understand where it actually came from, man. I appreciate you chiming in on that comment, man. I appreciate that. Absolutely. So let's get back to the Poet's Corner. All right. I got a piece right here. Right here. That I wrote. Let me go ahead and change this music right quick, or just lower the music down so you guys can. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this right here. So we're gonna go back. The Poet's Corner is where I give you guys a piece of my poetry. I let you guys inside my mind and inside my heart and inside my emotions and the things that I feel and the things that I see within this life that we live in, that I live. Right? I share my experiences. I share my emotions. I share my pain. So this small piece, right, is called "Do You See Me" by Martez Rafael Kirkland. All right, here we go. When you look at me, tell me, what do you see? Do you see my color? Do you see me as a man? Can you see my spirit within? Do you see me as an equal to yourself, or do you see me as worthless, black, and just another Negro that needs help? When I speak, do you hear my words, or do you just hear a black man making noise? When I speak, do you listen to me, or just ignore what I'm saying because you think less of me because my skin colors is not the same as yours? Do you see me? Can you hear me? Do you understand my pain, my struggle, my shame, my hustle to be equally humane and not look down on as nothing but trouble and less than a man? That is called "Do You See Me?" And that's the Poet's Corner. That's just a small piece that I'm giving you guys, and I hope you guys like that, right? So as I take a deep dive in it, when I break it down for y'all, I've been there. I've been there in school. I've experienced it in neighborhoods because my dad was in the Marine Corps. And sometimes when the areas that we lived in, some of them was predominantly white. And I got treated based off of my color. But then when I would go to school, they would shun me, act like they didn't know me. So I would hang out with my brothers, right? And at a certain point in my life, in my time, I guess, had an identity crisis. I'm glad I found out who I am and who I was and where I'm going based off of that. But I struggled with that. I went through that. So that's why I say, and then even in the workplace, I'm gonna be honest. And I'm gonna talk about that on another day. But in the Army and the service, there's a lot of racism, and it still is. They just don't want to talk about it. They hide behind the uniform, right? So, and a lot of people, I would say the Patriot, right? That was my talked about my motivational morning inspiration, right? Quote. I hate that. Like, some people get so blind again about being patriot, and we all the same. No, you know that the racism is there. You know that you're being treated based off of the color of your skin, and for another day. But again, let me break this down for y'all. When you look at me, I'm talking about each and every one of you, especially those that have another color of me. When you look at me, what do you really see? Do you just see my color? Or do you actually see a man just like you? Can you see who I am within, my spirit, my soul? Do you see me as equal to you or below you? Do you see me as just a worthless human being because of my color, black, and just another Negro trying to get a come up? Someone that got his hand out for help, that's saying that he is being victimized? So when I speak, are you actually listening to me? When I speak, are you actually hearing my words that I'm saying to you? Or are you got earplugs in because it's me speaking because of my color? Or it just sound like just blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. So do you listen, or you just ignoring me? What I'm saying, because you don't care or you don't understand. Because you just think less of me because of my skin color. Because it's not the same as yours, you think that you are better than me. Do you see me standing right here before you? Can you hear me? Can you understand? Do you understand what's inside of me and the pain and the things that I endure on a day-to-day basis based off of the color? Do you understand my struggle? Or is it you're so far from understanding that you cannot empathize? There's no sympathy because you're unwilling to. You don't understand that there's shame. There's a shame, a cloud of shame that walks upon me, that hovers upon me. You don't understand how I have to hustle. My hustle was different from yours. The things that I have to do, you don't have to do, to be equally and to be looked upon as a human being and not looked down upon and always judged based off of what you see on TV. I'm just saying, y'all, this is the Poet's Corner. I want y'all, I hope y'all pondering on that. I hope you guys probably think about hopefully what I've expressed to you guys. Go back, I don't know, take a nap, have a dream about it, and hopefully you're waking up to be more enlightening. All right. Poet's Corner, y'all. All right, let's go on. Let's move it on. All right. Black History Fact, because you know we're in the month of February. The Black History Fact. I can't even say his name, right? Born Oluli Kosolo Kudojo Lewis was one of the last illegal slave ships to the United States, right? Let me bring it up. Where's he at? I'm looking for it. I hope I didn't. Okay. All right. I think I lost it, the information I had. But this guy was one of the last slaves, right, on the illegal slave ships to the United States in 1860. Right before, he was only a slave for 4 years. That's what I remember off the top of my head. He was only a slave for 4 years, and then he received his freedom, you know, when everybody got emancipated after the Civil War, right? So that is a Black History Fact. Go ahead, jot it down, check them out, read about it, inform yourself on your Black heritage, your Black people. And even if you're not Black, it's part of American history if you guys realize that, right? And I'm going to say this right now. Those that control the curriculum in the American schools need to put more Black history in the history books. Or how about put another subject and allow the students to choose the history that they take, right? Make it another elective or something. Put Black history in the schools to teach, right? And we know they have it in college, right? But I believe because Black history is so important and influenced and have such an influence in American history that it's not enough Black history spoken about and taught about in American schools. So that's why there's so many Black young people that don't even know what Blacks have brought to this country. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Moving on. What is the question of the day, man? The question of the day is, someone asked me on TikTok on my live earlier, right, this morning, right? And it was a young lady, beautiful queen. She asked, should you stand by your man when they fall on hard times? I kind of choked over this, right? I was like, what? I said, if you got to ask, something is wrong. If you have to ask, something is wrong. Should you? It's like maybe it's not a no-brainer to some women. Should you stand by your man when they fall on hard times? Yes, you should. Why shouldn't you? Has he wronged you? Has he done something to you? You're going to want a woman to stand by. I mean, you're going to want a man to stand by you when you fall on hard times. So you should stand by your man when he fall on hard times. Why wouldn't you? It was mind-boggling that she asked me this, right? You can stand by your man. Hey, if I'm gonna be honest, if you're my woman and I find out that you asked a question of that nature or you ask me that, you're no longer my woman. If you have to ask, we have an issue. If you have to ask me as my woman, as my wife, as my girl, as my significant other, as my fiance, whatever title that you guys want to put on it, right? To ask me, should I stand by you when you hit hard times? You got to go. You got to go. You got to go, right? And I was like, it was mind-boggling. Yes, both individuals should stand by each other through hard times, right? When you get into a relationship, long-term commitment, right? You never know what life is going to bring you. You never know what issues may occur. You never know what hard times you will fall on. You never know that, hey, you may leave the house that morning with a job and come back to the house without a job. You don't know because life is unpredictable. God, things, the universe will throw things in front of you to test you, put you in situations that, guess what? To see how you respond to them. So guess what? Because how you respond to them, guess what? May depend on what type of blessings you get later on down in your life. So guess what? Woman, ladies, stick by your man, especially if he's good to you, especially if he's trying his best to be the best man possible. He's taking care of the home, he's taking care of you, he's loving you, he's listening to you, he's being that moral support, that emotional stability for you. You better stand by him. Hey man, we have it hard too. And I know women do too, but I'm talking about men. Let's have an isolated topic conversation, right? Without saying, what about me? I hate that. I hate when we bring up a subject on a man, and then there'll be women, they always got to bring it back to them. And a lot of times it's all about what the man ain't been doing, because I got it. There's a lot of men that ain't right. There's a lot of men that don't do the things that they should do for their families, for their women, for their kids. But there are men out there that are trying, and they just not are in the right place financially to be able to do those things. But they get stomped on and talked about because that they're just not in that position. But hey, women, stand by your man when he falls on hard times, right? Do unto others as you will want done unto you. Treat others how you will want to be treated. Love one another as you will want someone to love you. All right. Because I'm quite sure if you got sick, if you had a financial situation that puts you in a bad way, you will want that man to be there. You will want that man to sit and stand and sit by your side when the time of your sickness, and not up and leave because it gets hard. I've seen and I've experienced too many women, because things are not their way, doesn't go their way, or things gets too hard, they leave. They come up with an excuse, or they find an excuse to be by that man's side, right? But let a man do that. Let a man do that. He gonna be scum of the earth, no good. He ain't nothing but a dog, selfish. I mean, scum of the earth. Whatever word or name that you can make up, you can think of, he is that. So let's learn to love each other, respect each other, do the same for each other in regards, and not think about like, well, this is not what I signed up to. Yeah, you did. When you signed up to marry that man, you signed up for better and worse, to worse. If you came there when it was good, if you came there and you came into my life and everything was all gravy and everything was loving and everything was happy, I'm gonna say, damn it if you leave me. Because I believe if you do, ain't nothing good gonna happen to you. It may start off good, but God gonna have it. God gonna deal with you. Especially if you married. You leave me in the midst of when it gets hard. I always have said this, right? Even through my marriages. It's easy to love someone, quote unquote. It's easy to love someone, right? When everything is good. The true test of love and a person commitment is not when everything is all peaches and creams. It is not when everything is all rosy. It is not when we are going on vacations, the money is good, the physical and the intimacy is great. When I come home, we smile and we dancing. It is not in those instances. It's when that speed bump, that barrier, that mountain, that devil tries to enter into your relationship. It's when your relationship is tested. That is the true test to how you can overcome that. I got some comments, so let me see what these comments are. I'm gonna read them out. Kanesi Williams, he talks about it's like Hennessy. Oh, okay, but with a Hennessy. Okay, good words. Salute, appreciate it, brother. It's like Trick Daddy's song, America. Oh, I remember that. They burning Black history books and trying to absolutely, brother. I'm going on back. I'm trying to rehash them on the comments about what I was talking about. The Black history need to be put in the schools. If she down for him, she wouldn't. But yeah, exactly. If you have to ask, there's your answer. Kanisi said it. If I gotta ask you, or you have to ask me, you ain't down for me. I've been married 3 times, unfortunately. Now, the first time it was me that did divorce. I never thought that I'd ever be divorced. I always thought I used to be a young boy, man, thinking about being married and having kids, honestly, with a big house and coming home to my wife and everything. I guess, I don't know. That's what I was. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys, it may sound corny, but that's what I want. I wanted love, man. I was a hopeless romantic. But things didn't go that way for me, right? I'm married to a woman that really didn't love me, didn't care for me. And I was married to a woman that really, I felt, hated me. I talked about it I talked about colorism on one of my episodes. She was, fairly light-skinned, brown-skinned woman. And I remember she would call me black, you ugly, dark skin. So therefore, I knew that she didn't love me. And she was only there because we was having a child together, and therefore she didn't know what she was going to do, how to take care of the child, right? So therefore she felt obligated probably to marry me. Like as I felt obligated to marry her, I felt like as a man, I was trying to do the right thing by giving my son and trying to give my son his mother and father in a home and doing everything that I possibly can to take care of my wife and show that I love them and everything and be that leader and that head of household, young, being in the army and all that good stuff. Thought I was doing the right thing, but she kept showing me that she hated me. She hated this black man. She didn't love me. And I wasn't perfect. I was young, learning. Then my second wife, we didn't really have like it was one thing that I could pinpoint it. She just went through some times where her father had passed, through us getting married, to the planning of the wedding. We were 30 years old, 29, 30 years old, and I loved her. I did. I didn't know, I wasn't equipped with the tools and the right frame of mind and the maturity to really handle what she was going through. All I knew myself is just in the baggage that I had from my first marriage. I was so in tune with my kids and making sure that they were good through the toxicity that their mother would give, and I had joint custody and everything. And then my I guess the way I thought I was trying to be strong for her by like, hey, we got to move on and we got to build for our life and we got a future together, and not realizing she was mourning her. She was mourning her father. And I don't, not purposely, naively supportive enough. I take that. I reflect on that. And I believe if I would have been there, I honestly believe that we would have been okay. We didn't have a strong fire. We met each other in Egypt because in the army. Had a great time, man. It was great memories. But I realized my mother would tell me this, man. If she wanted to leave and she was over, and I kind of prepared some things because of my selfishness, because of my emotions and stuff. And my dad would always say, he'd tell me, like, you don't know when to shut up. And you don't know when to be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't win every battle. And that's how it was. I was younger. And I think I through my emotions, I probably said some things that probably could never take back. And I got it. I understood that. But I didn't necessarily mean it. I didn't know what I didn't think I was saying. And it was something, not something towards her dad. I was just speaking because she said something to my parents, and I'm just speaking and not really being in the moment of understanding that what she was going through. So that was more my lack of awareness, I would say. And I owned up to it. That's what real men do. When you make mistakes, own up to your mistakes. And I am not afraid to say it. But I still felt that we could have got through that. And I believe the love that I probably thought that she had for me wasn't strong enough to hold us and keep us together. So therefore, she chose to move on. Because I remember when the last time that we spoke within the house, the words that she said, the person that can get me out of this and get us through this is not here, which was her father. So I knew that it was over. And that was our test. We didn't pass the test. So and I go back to say, she wasn't for me. She wasn't for me. And I'm going to say this, every relationship that doesn't work, if it breaks up, it's almost like you don't go back. That means it wasn't for you. They wasn't for you. If a person leaves you in dire need, in a situation where you are on your hands and knees crawling to where you are down and out, knees scraped up, failed on your face, whatever, and they leave you, they wasn't for you in the beginning. God revealed to you to show you who they really are. And I'm not saying a person should stay through abuse. I'm not saying a person should stay through toxicity and neglect, and things of that nature. And I'm not saying that. But if we talk about the vow says do better, do worse. So when you decide to marry a person, you better understand what you're getting into, because you never know when those bad times going to happen. You can go through a great 10 years and all of a sudden you wake up and life has slapped you in the face, and now you face with whatever it is that you have to face. Now that's when your love will be truly tested. Now, honestly, are you going to go and say to your friends and your families, oh, I love this man. Oh, I love this woman. And guess what? I'm going to say it. Even in infidelity and adultery, because it is on the two individuals to decide if they still want to be bad. It says do better, do worse, in sickness and in health, to death do us part. So if you ain't going to abide by those, and guess what? I was because I've been divorced. So guess what? In a way, I went against, or I went away from those hard-nosed values and vows. I'm human. But then if it's the next time around, I definitely will approach it in a different mindset and in a different way. I'm seeing it. I would want to approach it in a different way. All right, guys. Hey, let's go ahead. We're gonna move on, man. I talked about that enough, man. And hey, so stand by your man, ladies and men. Stand by your women. through the hard times and the good times, I guarantee you God will bless you for it. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. In closing, let me take another last sip of my coffee right here because it's coffee in the morning, y'all. Oh, I want to put it out. Make sure you guys go to TikTok. Y'all go ahead and follow me over there. Enjoy my lives. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed on YouTube. Also, be on the lookout for Real Talk. All right, the Real Talk interview with your boy MRK. An interview with myself, where you guys get to know who I am, know why I do what I do, and a story about my 3 marriages. It's an interview with myself. All right, it's gonna be airing on YouTube. Check it out. Check it out. Check it out. In closing, today, terrific Tuesday. Hey, today will be terrific no matter what comes in your way. All right, always, think back about the good things that has happened to your day. God is gonna bless you if you keep him first in your life. Always, God always walks with me. He don't walk beside me only. He don't walk behind me to make sure that I don't go back to no bad. He also walks in front of me and guides me. All right. He holds my arm, he holds my hands, right? But he leads me in the right direction each and every day. So everything that I do is always God guidance, directed by him, even though maybe you don't think so, because I ain't over here preaching and having scriptures and stuff like that. But God has guided me in a way that I see fit, that I should be being able to connect with people, being able to inspire people, being able to influence in positive natures and positive ways. All right. Again, I am so excited for 2024. I told you I got a lot of stuff coming. I'm excited, that I was able to retire from the Army, because now I can be able to show you who your boy is, Martez Rafael Kirkland, man. I got great things in store for me, and he got great things in store for you. This is Real Talk with your boy, MRK. Hey, coffee in the morning. I see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all take care. Have a blessed day. We are out of here. Absolutely out of here.